let me tell you something about Helltaker. Hi, my name's Ryan.
Hello, I'm Jose.
Good job.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
so I want to talk a little bit about Helltaker. The game's not very long. I think a lot of people are going to have known about it, given the amount of information and amount of people have played it on Steam and the fact that it's free. Essentially, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, given it's a fairly short game and be easy to talk about. So essentially, Helltaker is you're going to be pre-recorded clips just taken from a little bit of what I played. Um, it's just essentially a puzzle game where you are trying to get to the end of the stage in a certain amount of moves to get demon ladies into your harem. And between these options here, whenever you actually do get to a demon, you can pick the wrong one and they'll kill you. And then you have to redo the stage. But obviously, once you've done the stage once, it doesn't change, so you just kind of do it again. So it's not like a real punishment for not having done it right. There'll be keys, as you see there. You have to get the key to finish the stage because these stages are not designed in such a way that you can't get them to not finish the stage. All the blocks you can push. Once obviously they get pushed into a certain wall or a certain direction, you cannot do anything about them. Every turn the spikes are going to come out of the ground, as you see there with those little holes in the ground, and the little skullmen you can kill once you kick them into a wall or another object. And that's kind of the gameplay, is you're just moving one space at a time to try and get to the lady at the end of the stage, and that's your overall goal. So your actions are move and kick is really what it comes down to. And there are some cases where you can just kick things just to like get, say, the spikes to move, because every time you move on a spike, these spikes are going to cause you to lose 2 turns as opposed to 1 turn when you move over them. So it's actually in some cases to your benefit to just kick something to get the spikes to go down, so that way you can move over it, if that makes any sense. And so that's kind of the gist of the game. Is I guess from a story perspective, you are a guy who I think quite literally wakes up and goes, I want to collect a harem of demons, and he goes and does that. And that's why his name is the Helltaker, is because he goes and collects a bunch of ladies to be in his demon harem. And they all have different personalities, I guess. They don't really say a whole bunch, given the game is as short as it is, but it's just kind of like a nice little, like, neat, like, well put together, like, a little puzzle game. I'd say, like, if they were to make a follow-up to this that was like, I feel like this is more like a proof of concept game, and if they were to like take what they have with this game and kind of make something more fleshed out with it, like with this art style, and um um turn it into a longer experience or turn it onto something on phones, they could probably do that. And I kind of hope they do, because I kind of enjoyed playing what I did play. Um, the, the the puzzles in this were not particularly challenging to the point that I was frustrated. Just more so that I had to like think it out. Because essentially, like, this is the one that it takes the longest, because it's like the final one. Because you literally collect, different demons like Cerberus, and you saw some of the other names, with whatever the fuck her name was, the bitch demon, and like you literally collect Lucifer as one of them, which is a little strange, but
The
yeah,
CEO of Hell.
yeah, the CEO of Hell, correct, Lucifer. How did you know that?
Um,
Were you paying attention when I was looking
I,
at the other videos?
for some reason, I just remembered that.
That's actually, yeah, that's what they call her in this, is the CEO of Hell. Given that they're all kind of like dressed up the way they are, I guess you can make an assumption like that. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of it. I think like the most I could really like show of this is like, obviously I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to keep going with this puzzle, and I'm just going to keep thinking it out. And I just kept getting stuck here to where like I was 3 moves away from the door, and I could not figure out what I was doing wrong. Because essentially, like, it took me a while just to get to this point where I realized, like, okay, all of these blocks around here have to be pushed in such a way that if you push either of these up, you're fucked. Well, okay, never mind, take that back. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we'll see here, I guess, in a second. Let me see. I shouldn't show, like, I guess, the solution, but you can ask for life advice and restart, obviously. And life advice brings up whoever the most recent demons were, I think, you collected to tell you. It's like, yeah, here's a little hint on how to, like, potentially beat the stage. And so I think wherever it was, like, where you see Lucy and the other one show up, is when they essentially are telling me, hey, maybe do this, or whatever the case may be. But anyways, so this is the final, like, kind of stage. Is it kind of turns into this, like, I don't know what you describe this, but kind of just more of like a more actiony. I don't know. It's like an action game. It's like an action game up until a certain point, I guess. Yeah. Because essentially you're avoiding the chains, you're avoiding the spikes, and this is essentially what the final stages of the game. And that's why I say, like, for as short as this is, it really does feel like it's a strong proof of concept for something that could have become, or could be still, a larger thing. Especially given the art style, and the writing has, like, some charm to it, to some degree or another, given that, like, you win over Lucifer by making pancakes. Lucifer, for some reason, likes pancakes. But that's really about it. Is you just kind of keep going through here. You know, here's some examples, like, that's Judgment, who's the final boss, who's causing all those changes to come out. Obviously, they're big boobied and whatever anime ladies.
I mean, I guess for, like, the final stage or the final act that you just saw earlier, is that just based on reaction and your speed, or because I'm like,
what do you mean, like this?
Yeah, because I'm like, that's really quick.
This is just me moving around, and just, like, considering it's the same pattern, I just kind of, like, knew the pattern up under a certain point. And so this is just, like, you know, you move one square at a time, so it really is just kind of like getting the rhythm of when the chains are going to spawn and just trying to avoid the chains.
So is there, like, an HP bar, or?
Yeah, actually, yes, during this section, I know the player down here is kind of covering it up. But I move this? Oh, sweet. I didn't know I could do that. These are your pips of health during this.
Oh.
So I already lost 3. And she's going to come out and talk some more. And then, definitely
no.
not a sex thing. And so, yeah, and then there's some of the other demons. The lustful demon, the sour demon. The sour demon likes video games, by the way. And so she keeps talking, and then you keep doing the boss fight. See, and I literally just continued on, I believe. And then essentially you win her over as well by trying to, like, flirt with her or whatever. And then she's like, oh, okay. And then these guys come out and they do this.
Are those, like, her henchmen or something?
Those, I would say, are, like, the little skeleton dudes.
Oh.
That were around, like, Lucifer's henchmen. And that's pretty much the epilogue of the game. It's like, oh, he did it. But it turns out it wasn't as good as it was because, you know, they were all demons. And then you go around and you give everybody pancakes. And then the police show up, I think.
I guess for some reason,
but that's pretty much the game.
The fact that pancakes are involved, or, you know, some type of food, just reminds me of The Devil's a Part-Timer.
Yeah, it's an anime. I haven't watched that. But I mean, that's really about it. Any other questions?
No, actually, it seems pretty straightforward.
It's a pretty straightforward game. I think here I was trying to look up, trying to get the last couple of achievements in the game because there's only like 8, and then there's like this kind of weird. Like, you have to do these specific movements on this carpet to get Beelzebub, who is your narrator, to pop up in this portal.
I mean, I guess I do have a question now.
Okay.
That I realized.
Yeah.
You may have already gone over it, but since you are collecting them, do they just become part of your party, and you can select?
No.
Huh.
You just collect them, and then the next stage you hit life advice, and then that, more than likely, that demon's going to come out for the life advice of the following stage.
So they're just collectibles.
pretty much. Like, they have little tiny tidbits, and they say things when you collect them, and they say things essentially during life advice in the next stage, and that's about it. There's really not enough. The game's not long enough for there to be enough writing for that to really matter. But anyways, that's Helltaker. Thanks, Jose.
Yeah.